So this review should be pretty simple, but very fun at the same time as I really want this KWA for myself. Welcome to the KWA KM16 review. This is USAirsoft and I'm Scott Slade Holmbeck, and my room is a damn mess again. This happens every time I do a review. But anywho, we'll be checking out my first KWA AG, which was sent by AirsoftStation.com, which is where you can get this rifle for yourself for $285. But let's see if this thing is really worth its price tag. Because seriously, if you're spending 3 Benjamins, you're gonna want to know if this thing's any good or not. So let's start off like we always do, with the unboxing. So sliding this normal looking KWA cardboard rectangle on the table, we wouldn't see anything super special. Just the average graphics and a little look at what's inside the box on the right side. So let's just open it up and slide out the styrofoam tray. Now it looks like we have a pretty good setup going on in here, and the styrofoam isn't everywhere, so that's good too. So let's start picking this package apart with the paperwork first. For these documents, it looks like we'll be getting a KWA warranty slip, a slip that lets us know that this rifle is LiPo ready, which is great to know, and of course, we have the operator's manual. This manual shows you how to load your included magazine, how to insert a battery, how to adjust your hop-up and sights, how to take down your rifle, and it will also include an extensive parts breakdown of both the KWA M16 and the K120 magazine. Now it is my job to make this manual unneeded, but still be sure to hold on to this. Next we would have the K120 magazine. These are wonderful mags, and rightfully so for a very long time now. They feel tough with this polymer shell, and I've even seen these thrown all around the playing field, and we'll get more into this magazine later. Then we'll be getting a red barrel cap, a large type to small type converter plug, which we'll take a look at later, and under the rifle itself, we'll be getting 2 Allen wrenches and a sight adjustment tool in a small baggie with the normal unjamming rod underneath that. Now we can get the styrofoam tray out of here and get into the classic M16A3 rep. Now this is where things get fun for me, so let's take a look at this KM16 and see if we can find any shortcomings, starting with the metal standard birdcage flash hider with 14mm negative standard threads underneath. This flash hider also sits on a metal barrel with a normal triangle sight towering over. This sight is adjustable for elevation, and that can be done with the included tool in that small baggie that we pulled out earlier. And under that sight would be a bayonet lug just in case if you wish to use it with your reliable front sling mount just behind it. Next would be your M16 length handguard that is made perfectly. It doesn't creak, bend, or have any unsightly seams jutting out from its surface. It's just made to be enjoyed, and I like the classic look that it gives off, but at any time you can replace the panels with a compatible rail system if you'd like. Now for the metal body, which I should clean up a bit because I hate to see little dust bunnies on the body when I get close up to the rifle. Anyway, to be expected, this would be the normal M16/M4 body with all the same controls in their normal places, with the exception of some KWA branding on the mag well. These are bright white and do stand apart from the body, so I do hear some complaints back and forth about people hating these and other people liking these. So if you like them, then there you go. But to me, I really don't care. But starting from the top, you would have your standard removable carry handle that houses your rear sight that is adjustable for windage and elevation with an optional aperture sight post. This can be hard to flip for the first time, as I learned myself when I whacked my thumb trying to turn it, so be prepared for some resistance. You also have the option to mount a rail on top of the carry handle if you'd like, or you can just get rid of the carry handle by unscrewing it off and put your own sight of choice, like how I put on this ACOG replica. But everybody knows how rails work, so I shouldn't really need to go over this. Something else that's normal would be your hop-up location. Simply pull back on the charging handle, which will drop your dust cover and expose your dial. This hop-up will be the type where all the way in one direction will equal 0 hop, so you'll have to find the sweet spot somewhere in the middle. I used .28s when I went for range, but I recommend .25s like the box mentions you should use. Now this bolt won't stay back as the bolt catch is just for looks, but that's really no biggie. Your forward assist would also just be for looks, but that doesn't really matter. But what would matter would be your selector switch. Like you would expect, this would be the standard M4 or M16 style selector switch, but it does its job very well, and it's actually slightly stiff. It won't just move around on you, and it will click in place, so I do like that, and your magazine release would be concave and should drop your mags freely. Now referring to the manual real quick, I found that you can get into the rifle quite easily like the real thing. Just loosen these screws with the included Allen wrenches and break the rifle downwards. This makes things easy when you need to clean out the body from the inside, take out your gearbox, or get your broken hop-up out. Oh, I didn't mention that, did I? This would be my first KWA AG, and this happens to me when adjusting the hop-up for a range test. Honestly, I'm going to be losing my sponsorship if everything I review returns messed up. I've got to be cursed or something. How do I make a piece that looks good on the outside look like garbage on the inside? And this is not something I could just brush off. And I was about to point out that the full stock is awesome, as it gives you the choice to run about any battery you want to. But even though it does come with a large type connection, KWA did include this conversion cord like I mentioned earlier. So now you can use your small type batteries. But still, within a week this happens? Man, I'm going to be getting so many people telling me in the comments I'm an idiot and that this has never happened to them before. Besides this, the rifle was putting out 430 feet per second shots one after another with .2s, and the rate of fire was coming to around 12 rounds a second with a 9.6 battery. So you do know this is your field gun of choice, with some upgrades. At least you've got that warranty. Now this rifle was able to land hits at a man-sized target at 100 feet, so you shouldn't need to worry about range out of the box. And what I could tell by setting up for the 200 foot shots is that 150 foot shots were also very doable. That is before my hop-up issue happened. Now let's just quiet things down now and get to the shooting of this thing before I have to give my final conclusion. It's so hard crapping on something that I admire so much. I love the classic guns, and this rifle shot so well, especially with having an awesome quick trigger, but you saw what happened to this one. Don't let this discourage you though. Ask around and get some other people's opinions before you make a purchase, because remember, this thing does cost $300. But if you're settled to get it for yourself, then be sure to check out the links in the description down below to send you off to airsoftstation.com. These guys have been quite patient with me, so I'd say that they're some pretty good guys. But let me know if you guys have any questions with the comments down below, as I'm always in those comments to see what you guys think. But let me make something straight as to why I like the full-length M16 so much. Take this G&G M14 EBR as an example. It's a good looker, even without any add-ons, but compared to a walnut stocked M14, then it's rubbish to me. So if you take a brand new M27 by VFC and put it next to this KWA, then it should be clear that only one looks good while the other one performs. Thank you for watching. This has been Scott Slade Hollenbeck.